We're going to start with our 1 minute of backstroke. There's a few little strength elements today. Let's get going, but we'll talk our way through it as we go. So just to reverse all of that front crawl we do, keep the head nice and still. Remember, we're entering with the little finger. As soon as that hand passes the ear, we bend the elbow and we push the water towards the feet, okay? Just a nice thing to do to reverse the front crawl movements. We do so much front crawl as triathletes and long distance open water swimmers. Remember to switch the shoulders from side to side. And backstrokes nicely. So many similarities with front crawl. I mean, in some respects, it's a little bit easier because the head stays still, no need to turn to breathe. And you can just literally work on what the arm's doing. The hand, there's no shift in timing. The hands remain at 180 to each other. There's no change. Good, good, good. Okay, let's get on to the chords. So it's a 10-minute block of work broken down as follows. 1 minute of backstroke. We're now onto our 4 minutes of front crawl. We've got a little strength, shoulder strength movement to do for a minute. Then we're going to go 2 minutes of slow motion front crawl with a surface recovery. Then we're going to isolate the triceps and do a little bit of a tricep pull down movement with our quads. And if that doesn't quite work, there's plenty of other tricep options we can do. And then we're going to do a little bit of rotation work to wrap it up. Okay, so just 3 rounds of 10 minutes. We should be done in time for lunch. Keep the head still for now. Focus on the technique. I'm starting from the top. I'm tipping the fingertips over, trying to pivot from the elbow, pulling with the palm and the forearm. Tracy, welcome. So you're just joining us on the long chords, doing some front crawl. We just warmed up with a little bit of backstroke. We've got 4 minutes of front crawl now. Just take it nice and easy. The accumulation of switching movements, a little strength focused movement, it'll all start to build up. No need to rush anything just yet. So from the top, fingertips tip over, pivot at the elbow, pulling with the forearm. Keep it central as it pulls down under the body. Don't go wide, don't sweep across. We don't want to do anything that's going to throw the hips around. Elbow pops out nice and wide from head on. So it looks like this position, okay? And then that's a nice, safe pulling position, channeling the water backwards towards the feet. So you go forwards in a nice straight line. Okay, 2 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go. Think of this as the warm-up, nothing too strenuous yet. If you've got your quads hanging vertically, remember to wiggle the hips, get them involved as the hand travels down towards the hips are rotating so that you can finish the stroke longer than what you might have thought. Don't exit above the hips. That's not going to tax the triceps. That's going to be a little bit of an easy movement. It's going to shorten the stroke. It's going to impact the breathing, narrow the window to get the air in, and you're going to get a little bit jumbled up here. Keep the stroke long. To go faster, we perform the same long stroke, just with a faster movement, really. We try not to lose the accuracy. We don't shorten things. So about 45 seconds to go, and if you've got them, you can pick up a pair of light dumbbells, tins of beans, or resistance cords. Okay, I doubt your long stretch cords will work for this. So if you don't have any of those, just go without. And if you remember the film Karate Kid, you remember the wax on, wax off movement? With some light dumbbells, it's a fantastic shoulder strengthening prehab movement. If you're at our fitness sessions, you'll see me doing this with my quads while you're all swimming. Well, you shouldn't see me doing it. You should all be swimming, of course. But it's to keep the shoulders healthy, to be able to absorb all of this workload. all of this training. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, pick up your dumbbells. So we're just going to keep the elbows at 90. I'm going to stand to one side so you can see it. And we're just going to make big circles. And from the side, you want to imagine you're trapped between 2 panes of glass, keeping them hands over the elbows. So we're going outwards for 30 seconds, and then we're going to reverse and bring it in for 30 seconds. Okay, so switch that in. The dumbbell should be nice and light. It's the slow, accurate movement that's going to build up a little bit of fatigue here, certainly by the 3rd round. If the dumbbells are too heavy, you'll start to feel them falling forwards. It's important that the hands stay over the elbows. Last 10 seconds. So work on a nice posture. Keep the shoulder blades almost squeezed together. The bigger circle, the slower you can go, the better. 3, 2, 1. Back on the cords, please. Back on the cords. Good work, everyone. Good work. Remember, we're brushing the shoulder through to the chin to get that streamlined position, switching from side to side. Front crawl, you never want to be in that flat position any longer than is necessary. We don't swim flat. We switch from side through to the opposite side, barely pausing in that flat position. You know, the more of us that's underwater and submerged, the more we have to pull through, the more work we have to do to shunt that surface area through the water. So if you're warmed up now, maybe we can take a little movement further away from the point of origin where you've got your fins tethered. Maybe you can take a step down if you're in a stairwell. Last 45 seconds before we move on to some tricep pull downs, or in some way work on a tricep extension position. I'll show you a few. Keep the accuracy. Let's just focus on the arms now. We'll add in some breathing for round 2 and round 3 with the head turning. For now, just focus on that long pull, the mirror image, left and right arms. Last 10 seconds, last 10 seconds. Keep it going. In 3, 2, 1. Okay, if possible, bring your cords parallel, elbows at 90 degrees. Okay, and we're just working on that tricep push down at the back of the stroke. Okay, finishing the stroke. If you can add a little pivot at the wrist, that's even better, to keep the palm facing the feet for as long as possible. Okay, a little tricep push down. If your cords aren't working in quite that way, you can always pick up your dumbbells again, bend over and work on a nice tricep back of the stroke finish like so. You could do some narrow grip press ups against a wall just with a little bit of an angle. Keep the elbows tucked into the side. Just something to isolate the tricep and think about what might happen at the back of the stroke. If you can add this little wrist pivot at the back just before you sort of then flow into the recovery, so much the better. Good work, everyone. Okay, drop the dumbbells off the cords. Let's just work a little bit on our rotation. This is for the benefit of those that don't have the cords mounted vertically. It's a little bit hard to get the hips involved. So we're just going to wake up the rotation, keep the head still, really keep the head still, bring the shoulder through. And it's a nice way to remind ourselves about that extension, that switching, and staying on our side for as long as possible, and then quickly switching through, okay? Head still. It's a tricky one, swimming. Not many sports require this degree of keeping something still and something else moving. Maybe golf with the golf swing. I don't know, I'm no professional at that, that's for sure. It's a horrible golfer. I tried once. got sunburnt. I was out looking for the 40 balls I'd lost. Good work. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, we're back onto our backstroke. 1 minute of backstroke. This is now the start of round 2, everyone. Start of round 2. 1 minute of backstroke into the 4 minutes of front crawl. We'll start to pick up the pace a little bit, maybe add a little bit of resistance if we can step away. But for now, keep the head still. Look at that rotation work we were just doing and how it also applies to your backstroke. So the shoulder comes up, close to the chin, little finger enters, and then you pivot at the elbow to pull with the forearm as well as the hand. A lot of similar crossovers. I'm gonna have to keep tapping my phone. I just accidentally reactivated my the security thing, so it turns itself off after 3 minutes. I knew there was a reason why I deactivated that. So head nice and still, switch the shoulders from side to side. So another great minute of getting the hips involved if you can't involve the hips because of the way you've got your cord set up. I might add my dumbbells on the next round of that just to add a little bit of feel for the water. All right, guys, let's drop down a step, take a step further back from the point of where you have your cords tethered. Let's go 4 minutes, 4 minutes. Good work, everyone, good work. I'm very excited. We have staff training at our lake tomorrow, getting things set up and organized, ready for Saturday's grand opening. It's going to be quite nice to get back to a little bit of normality. Done a lot of work with the risk assessments and getting things set up and a one-way system. Oh, quite the headache, but it'll be worth it, I think. Nicely done, everyone, nicely done. So let's add a little breathing if we can. There's not too much to think about with all the other technical pointers. So remember, as I pull down and the hand travels under the face, I'm turning to the side to get the breath in. I'm going to take 3 to the left and then take my couple of strokes to roll 3 to the right. You should be getting your air. You should have turned to the side by the time the hand reaches the hip. If you're sort of turning too early or too late, there's problems can result. You can get bunched up under the arm and that arm recovering can swing you across. So just think about your timing. Try to get the head to the surface on the side. Be aware that some days, depending on the water conditions, you might have to move a few more degrees to get to the surface. But it's always worth thinking about breathing slightly backwards, keeping the mouth high and the head low. That sounds a bit clumsy, but if I lift my head forwards, obviously it gets the eyes nice and high, but it actually lowers the mouth, plus you combine that bow wave crashing into the top of the head, you're going to struggle to get the air. So as counterintuitive as it might seem, turn to the side early, get the mouth high by keeping the head low. The water, the bow wave will have started to drop. And actually a little pocket of air will form, and you can, certainly if the water's calm, and certainly in a pool, you'll see elite swimmers breathing almost, it looks like they're breathing under the surface, where that bow wave rises up, drops away, and you can get that low breath in. Okay, here. About a minute 15 to go, minute 15 to go. Keep it there. Let's go back to some breathing. Got to concentrate. It's so easy to drift in and out of this. So 3 to the left. And then switch to the other side. So I'm getting that combination of a lot of air coming in. I'm still breaking the bad habits. I don't worry only ever breathing to one side, but I am not breathing every third stroke, which can be very aggressive. All right, after the 4 minutes, we've got the wax on, wax off. I'll show you how to do it this time with a resistance cord, which can give a slightly different effect, but it's pretty much the same. If you don't have any equipment, don't worry. It's still a good exercise to do just with your own body weight, okay? Last 15, keep the hips involved, don't let things shorten, switching from side to side. 3, 2, 1. Good stuff, good stuff. So I'm going to take my TheraBand or my sort of simple tube here. Okay, and again, I'm just going to make nice big circles, 30 seconds outwards. And this is nice because there's tension all the way through as I sort of get the strength element in, but also as I return and it softens. I've still got to control that. I don't want it to pinch and release and twang me on the back of the head. Last couple with an outwards movement. And now let's return. So a little bit different to the dumbbells. I've got to control that, keep it smooth. And there's tension on the way out and on the way in. So the muscles burn just a little bit more, which is nice. Okay. In 10. Keep it slow. 3. Last couple. 2, 1. Fantastic. Back on the chords, please. Back on the chords. Again, can we take another step back? Should be nice and warm by now. Halfway through, over halfway through the session. Nicely done, nicely done. So let's start thinking, the next movement is that tricep pull down in isolation. So let's start to add that into our stroke now. Okay, so keep the palm facing down or back, whichever way you're standing or lying to get your stretch cords in the right position. Keeping that, pushing the palm all the way through beyond the hip, and then the hip relaxes to help with the recovery. Often we see the palm pushing up when we do our underwater filming, and that's going to sink the hips. If we can just keep that push before it then releases, that's going to be a helpful element to add into your stroke. And the dry land should be a little bit easier to be aware of that compared to when you're swimming in the pool. Last 35 seconds, 35 seconds. And then we're going to hit the triceps. So your choice, whatever is convenient, whatever's set up. So pivot at the hips, horizontal upper body, and work on a simple tricep extension, little, I think they're called kickbacks in the world of personal training. Just kick the hand back, a little bit of tricep strength. Use your light dumbbells. You can go with a narrow grip press up against a wall, put a little bit of an angle through, or if your cords are available to do this, if they're both available to sort of keep the same height, we can just push down. We can just push down. Okay, 1 minute of tricep focus movements. Tracy, can you hear? Switch it over. Good, good. So little pivot through the wrist. Good. Finish the stroke. Finish the stroke. This is an important part of the stroke. This is sort of a purely muscular exercise. There's not too much skill to the back of the stroke, but it does fatigue with long distance. It does start to shorten. The more you can lengthen the stroke, keep it pushing through, it'll help your breathing, keep the stroke long, won't impact your timing. Probably the impact on your breathing is the worst thing, because as you start to exit higher, you get a shorter window to get the air in. Keep going, keep going. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good stuff. Okay. Little rotation work. Keep the head still. Let's expand on that. If you've got space, if it's safe to do so, draw the sword. Take the hand from the hip, take it through, better with a light dumbbell. So from the opposite pocket, swing through. We just go 5 on each side. So this takes the shoulder in a reverse movement. A little bit of an added weight. That'll help build up the speed, and then you strengthen it as you slow it down and stop it crashing into the back of your head. We're getting our rotation. The hips should be switching from side to side. The shoulders low, the shoulders high. Draw the sword out of the pocket, sweep it through. Allow it to build up some speed. Good, good, good. All right, round 3, back onto your backstroke, please. Back onto your backstroke. You saw what that previous exercise was doing to the shoulders, to the hips. Front crawl backstroke, very similar. I really like to watch backstroke done well. I was not a particularly good backstroker, but it is very graceful, very elegant stroke to watch. There's a wonderful, if you want to spend an hour on YouTube, Camille Lecour. He was sort of world champion a couple of years ago from France. Fabulous technique, just looked like he was floating through the water. Well worth a look, well worth a look. Last 15 seconds, 15 seconds. Try to keep the hands opposite each other so the shoulders flow. We'll try not to do sort of a catch up. Try not to let it become a catch up out of the hip. That's sort of a very stunted movement. That won't help, but it's flowing. The hands are at 180. Nicely done in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good stuff. Back on the chords. Last long one. If you've got the strength, if you've got the energy, take a step back. But don't, if it impacts the technique. Okay, if the shoulders are burning, the muscles are screaming, don't let the technique disappear just for the sake of moving back. Good work, everyone, good work. Keep the head still unless you're going to add some breathing in. 3 to the left. And then I'm going to switch through. 3 to the right. Nicely done. 3 to the left. 3 to the right. And we know that most races, most events, you might well need to sort of keep breathing to one side for a lot longer than that, depending on tides, currents, waves, the sun, an annoying swimmer next to you. But if you're comfortable breathing to the left or the right, that's got to be a much better scenario than only having one option. And I think the 3 to the left, 3 to the right is a nice balance. If you suddenly switch from breathing every second stroke, so just only to one side, so you've only breathed to one side, you know, in a 25-meter pool, taking 25 strokes, for instance, you're going to get, what, 12 breaths? I think I said this the other day and I got the maths wrong. So, you know, it's going to be 12, 13-ish breaths. If you suddenly switch to breathing every third, again, at about 25 strokes, that's going to reduce your air to like 8 breaths. 8 threes are 20, yeah, more or less. So it's 4 breaths less. And it may not be a technical thing as to why you are struggling to make that change from bilateral breathing or from single-sided breathing. Carry on, I've just got to reactivate my phone. There we go. But literally, it's a huge loss of air over just the one length. So I always, if anyone's talking to me in a technical lesson or one of our fitness sessions and they want to try to make that switch, do it in the slow stuff. Don't do it in the main set when you are working hard. Do it in the warm-up. Try to mix it up in the subset, in the cool down for a while. If there's any long, steady, slower stuff, that's the time to try it, not during any fast stuff. I should go back and check on YouTube. That would take forever. But I'm sure I said that the other day, but got the maths wrong. That's embarrassing. Never mind. 45 seconds to go, 45 seconds. And then we've got the wax on, wax off. Just to take the triceps, the shoulders through a range of movement. And again, the nice thing, I'm going to show you a slight change on this round. If you've got TheraBands and you can sort of tether them around a banister, you can perform the same movement, but the tension is at a slightly different angle. So carry on, carry on. I don't expect you to worry about this now. But if you want to have a look at this, email me, ask for the dry land booklet. Carry on in 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm just setting up my bands. I'm sneaking out. Okay, pick up your dumbbells, pick up your cords, whatever you've got. Okay, so now I've got the tension horizontal. Okay, and I'm still going to make that circular movement. I'm still trying to make my circles, hand over the elbow. Again, if there's too much tension, you'll see the arms pull forwards, okay? But this puts another dimension of tension through the shoulders. And reverse the movement, last 30 seconds. Very nice. Keep it big, keep it slow. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tremendous. Back onto the long cords. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. 2 minutes. Can we take another step back, a few inches, put a little bit more resistance through? Keep the symmetry, same speed, same angles at the elbow, same pathway under the body. Don't deviate too wide, don't sweep across. Just generally keep it sort of in between the backbone, down the middle, and the shoulder. Don't go outside of the shoulder, don't go across the backbone. With that in mind, you can't go far wrong in terms of sending the water backwards so that you go forwards. Let me keep going. I've just got to reactivate my phone. There we go. So yeah, I was talking about the symmetry. To stay straight in open water, that's not going to happen, is it? If one arm is pushing you slightly to the left and then the other good arm sends the water backwards, each arm has to perform the same movements, which is why it's lovely to spend time with the central snorkel, especially if you can get a quiet time in the pool. And you can swim on top of a black line so that you can watch, you can look down, use that black line to help guide you. Same speed, same angles, same length, same pathway. Keep that in mind. Last 20 seconds. Nicely done. In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Tremendous. Tricep pull down. Remember, tricep pull down. Finish strong. Finish strong. Finish the stroke. Just close your eyes. Think about that endurance event, that long swim you're doing. The arms are screaming, but you must finish the stroke. So important to keep that window of opportunity for a good breath in. If that starts to shorten, if you start to finish here, recover, it just messes up that rhythm, speeds up the rate at which you want to turn the head, shortens the amount of air you can get, and then you've got to breathe more frequently. You probably would be dropping from every third to every second stroke if you were under that much pressure. It's never going to be good at the back of the stroke. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Well done, everybody. Okay, shake the arms out, keep the head still. Rotation work. Get the hips involved. Remember, the hips follow. Don't be sort of trying to rip the shoulders from side to side. You must break the connection to the head. And if you can let the hips flow and the shoulders switch from side to side, it will be so much better, so much better. Shake the arms a little bit. Let them have a rest. Good, good, good. Let's just roll into a little bit of backstroke just to reverse all the good front crawl we've done. Pick up your dumbbells maybe, just so you get that feel for the water. Nice and slow. Remember, the hands are at 180, completely opposite each other. It's the only way backstroke gets swum effectively. Switching from side to side. Try to brush. Shoulder brushes the chin, or cheek, I should say. Keep the head still. Fantastic. And if you've got the space, I'm going to take a step. I'm going to get rid of these. Let's add in some double arm, That's a great stretch through the chest and the shoulders. Double arm backstroke. It's a great way to get the effect of backstroke, but without the full understanding or the full practice and learning the mechanics of the the full backstroke stroke. So add a I keep saying that, a pull buoy at the hips when you're having a nice swim down at the end of your session. Double arm really stretches, from front crawl, all of this. It does involve the chest quite a bit, setting your catch, turning that over, and then we're reversing that, opening the chest. Fantastic. And back to the rotation work. Draw the sword, 5 on each arm, just to get the blood flow shifting in and out through the arms again, just to loosen it off after that hard work. Good. Things are back to normal now. No more bank holidays for a while. Hope you enjoyed yours. We'll be working some fitness on Friday. Hope you can make it.